Wow. 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 This is why we watch football. This is why I watch football. This is why I'm still doing this for a living. In a game where there's a lot of high anticipation, a lot of expectations flowing around your head, and of course, a lot of nervous energy flowing around your body. I mean, week 5 is just full with chaos. Literally chaos. Starting with the Bills and the Texans, which I thought it was going to be the great game to watch. Everyone thought it was going to be the game of the week, but it was low scoring, and in a game-winning field goal for the Texans. The epic showdown between the Colts and the Jaguars, which was a high-scoring affair, and then the Jaguars escaped with victory 37-34. Caleb Williams having a tremendous performance over the Panthers. But you cannot tell me, out of all the games I watched today, you cannot tell me that any other game is better than the game that I just watched right in front of my eyes. Because I was losing my voice once I saw the bitter end unfold. That was just crazy in its own right. It was nothing but a game of emotions. It was a game where both quarterbacks had dealt with the most pressure on their shoulders and just flat out put on a show. First off, I want to say this. Ravens, congratulations on getting the victory. You advanced to 3-2 in the season, get back over 500. Just like last year, you were 3-2. This year, today, you're 3-2 again, and have a chance to go above and beyond your schedule. As for the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm sorry, you dropped to 1-4. You do fall to 0-3 in your home building, which is unfortunate, but you guys put on a heck of a fight. You cannot ask more than an AFC North rivalry game coming down to the wire. It was literally a fun game to watch. I'm not lying. This is the game of the week. A game that went into overtime where instant drama happens. But I'll break it down for you. Starting with the box scores I have in front of me right here. Lamar Jackson, 26 of 42, 348 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, a passer rating of 119, but a QBR of 59. Including the one fumble he had in overtime, which basically would have been costly, but it is what it is. On the ground, 12 carries for 55 yards rushing, and that was pretty much about it for him. He put on a heck of a show right there. In spite of the offensive line, once again, not being so disciplined, we still lead the league in penalties, I believe. He had to put on a show for himself. It was, quote-unquote, the Lamar Jackson, the Save Us Lamar Jackson show. Because he went out there and said, defense don't got my back. I'm not going down like this. I'm going to go down the field multiple times and get points on the board. And he did just that. Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 92 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Out of the 92 rushing yards he gained, the big play in overtime was really big. It was just crucial that we got all the rushing yards in the end to set up the game-winning field goal for Justin Tucker. Let me take a look at some other stats. Zay Flowers, 7 catches, 111 yards, no TDs, unfortunately, because we had to use him for game-time drives, including Justin Tucker's 57-yard field goal, which he nailed down with authority. Charlie Kolar, 3 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Rashad Bateman, glad we target him 4 times today. He got 4 catches, 58 yards receiving, and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely will put his highlights as highlights of the game or highlights of the night with his 3 catches for 13 yards, but 2 crucial touchdowns he got for us, including the last touchdown he caught from Lamar Jackson. He was scrambling out of the pocket. Sam Hubbard was in his face. He got out of it with a stiff arm of his own, and he lobbed it up for an amazing play for Isaiah Likely to grab. I mean, that was just something truly special right there. So that's the offense for the Ravens. As for the defense today, pass rush was nothing to call out for. They did their jobs. The guys that definitely did not do their jobs was this secondary. This flippin' secondary continues to get on my darn nerves. They look like one of the worst secondaries through 5 weeks. Game 1, obviously you give up 26 points. If I'm checking this right here, yeah, they give up 26 points. 27 points, excuse me, to the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you head into game 2, week 2, against the Las Vegas Raiders. You had a 10-point lead, and y'all know what happened. They gave up 23 points. I'm not going to explain too much of that. And then you go to Dallas, where you give up 25 points. Literally titled one of the worst, if not the worst, secondaries in the league. You made a slight improvement when you faced the Bills, but you still have not learned your lesson when you took on Joe Burrow, Lamar Chase, and the Bengals. You guys gave up 38 points defensively. Yeah, you guys need a lot of work. Especially heading to week 6 against the Commanders, which that's going to be a heck of a matchup right there. That'll be one tough of a matchup right there. Facing Jane Daniels, but I'm not too worried about that. I'll get into that in another video. It's just, when we need the secondary the most, I'll give kudos to this person for making this crucial interception, this turnover. And that is Marlon Humphrey. Man, he had to step in when the secondary is not doing their job. When the Bengals were going into a game-winning drive, or pretty much the drive to actually seal the game, Marlon Humphrey picks off Joe Burrow in a slant route. He was going to target Ja'Marr Chase in a slant route, and he got it at the perfect time to set up Justin Tucker's field goal to tie to send it to overtime. You know what happens. So kudos to Marlon Humphrey. I know he's been cooked, toasted, burnt all day in the secondary, but he stepped up when we needed him the most. So kudos to him. As a whole for the Ravens, close game. Don't do that again, please, if you would, because y'all still need a lot of work. Consistency, still not there yet. I know y'all 3-2 right now, just like last year, but there's certainly a lot of adjustments you guys can make. A lot of stuff to improve coming off this crazy win in Cincinnati. You just found a way to win. You stayed resilient, you stayed confident, and you kept believing in yourselves, which is something that Coach Harbaugh appreciated after the game. That's what he said in his press conference. He loved the fight, he loved the determination, and most certainly the belief within this team that they can win this game. Despite going down multiple scores, in spite of giving up too many touchdowns in the second half, they kept believing in themselves. They forced overtime, and they just kept grinding and grinding and grinding to find a way to win this game. So I want to give huge kudos to the Ravens organization as a whole for finding a way to win. So that's all I got to say about that. Now to the losing team, the Cincinnati Bengals. It was tough. You suffered a heartbreaking loss yet again at home, but this time in miserable fashion, considering there was an AFC North rival coming into your building. Joe Burrow, 30 of 39, 392 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. That was Joe Burrow threw it to Marlon Humphrey right there. Sacked 3 times for a loss of 21 yards, but he didn't get sacked at all in the second half. Or, that was just one time actually in the fourth quarter where he did get sacked, actually. Passer rating of 137, QBR 77. On the ground, Joe Burrow had 2 carries for a yard. He didn't do too much in the run game. As for Zach Moss, 9 carries, 24 yards. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 46 yards. Yet again, the run game for Cincinnati sucked again. Just like what happened in Monday Night Football against the Commanders, they did it again against the Ravens. Their run game sucked, and they got outlasted by our run game by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. As far as receiving today, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins did their thing. These two combined for 4 touchdowns, 2 apiece. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 193 yards. T. Higgins, 9 catches, 83 yards. Yeah, this secondary for the Ravens did not do a good job covering these guys. And as for the defense for the Bengals, they got to Lamar Jackson one time for a loss of 3 yards. But since then, they couldn't stop him. They could not tackle him because he's Lamar Jackson. He just finds a way to run around the pocket or get out of the pocket and just scramble for his life to make something happen. So, nothing you can do about it there. As far as defense in the front 7, it was an up and down affair. The secondary is still one of the worst secondaries in the league thus far. They give up 30 plus points a game. The lowest they can give up is 24, or heck, even 13 points to the Patriots, which was so embarrassing. But this defense, so bad since their Super Bowl run. You'd think Joe Burrow will carry this team to victory, but it was all ruined because of their defense. And that's what happened. The defense let the Cincinnati Bengals down, without a doubt. So that's statistics or stats from both sides. I want to break this down from beginning to end. So, opening drive, Lamar Jackson to Derrick Henry for a touchdown. Perfect way to start off the game. And then the next 2 drives, nothing to show for. Next drive, solid, well put together drive right by Lamar Jackson to basically set up for yet another touchdown to, Derrick Henry, because he got a passing touchdown and he got a rushing touchdown. He was one of the key players of the game. However, Cincinnati would have to tie before Derrick Henry scored the next touchdown. And then we will go up 14-7. Then a safety happens in the backfield, literally at the 1-yard line. Bengals defense gets through our offensive line, which has been inconsistent at times. We got to get a grip. They got the safety, 14-9. And since then, our offense can't do a darn thing to save their lives. Bengals regain the lead on, guess what? A T. Higgins big play for a touchdown. Or actually, no. Check that. It was Jamar Chase touchdown. Because, yet again, secondaries could not do their job. So we go into halftime. Down 17-14. And guess what happens? Bengals get the ball back. What do? They go down the field, score a touchdown with T. Higgins. But what they got to understand, Baltimore has the guts to respond, and they did just that. And you knew it was going to happen. Rashad Bateman takes it in for a score. Because when he needed to show up the most, he got it. He got his touchdown. And then what happens? Once again, secondary's trash. Front seven's doing whatever they can to get to Joe Burrow to save their lives. And what happens? Yet again, T. Higgins gets through the defense, scores a touchdown. And then, after that, the Ravens want to play a good chess match right there. What does Lamar Jackson do? He goes back out on the field and he says, you know what? It's the Save Us Lamar Jackson show. I gotta show up. And he did just that. He led that team down the field, or he led the offense down the field with poise, and goes out there, scores a touchdown. And guess who they targeted for the score? Yes, Charlie Kolar. Not Mark Andrews, Charlie Kolar. Got the score for us. I believe he made it a 24-21 score. Right off the bat, after the touchdown, Jamar Chase, 71 yards, touchdown. Embarrassing for the Ravens secondary. Again. Man, this defense cannot make a stop to save their lives. And then what happens next? Lamar Jackson targeting Isaiah Likely. Yeah, for his next 2 touchdowns to eventually keep us in the game. It was a back and forth affair. So Isaiah Likely gets his first touchdown, and then afterwards the Bengals get yet another touchdown of T. Higgins once more. And then Isaiah Likely gets the other touchdown from Lamar Jackson scrambling out of the pocket, throws it before he hit out of bounds, and snatched it out of the air with confidence. So proud of him. He has learned so much since he got here in 2022, and he's shown he can be a great tight end filling in the spot for Mark Andrews. So proud of him. And this is where it gets interesting. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals once again moving the ball down the field beautifully up until Burrow made his first mistake in throwing that pick to Marlon Humphrey. And then what happens after that? Lamar Jackson takes him down the field. He takes the Ravens down the field to set up Justin Tucker's 57-yard field goal, send to overtime, call it a day. We get the ball first. We go into Bengals territory, and you know what happens. Lamar Jackson, with the play clock winding down to 0, was trying to get the ball snapped from his center Tyler Linderbaum. Ball gets out of his grasp. He fumbles the ball. So unfortunate that they did not get it. Bengals recover, and I was like, this game's over. We're going to go out in heartbreaking fashion. But Bengals go 3 and out. They get the field goal unit on. Set up a 53-yard field goal attempt. What happens after that? The snap was high. The hold execution was awful. The punter did not do a good job holding the ball, making it set for the kicker. And as a result, a 53-yard field goal attempt for the win is missed. As a result, the Ravens offense goes back on the field. Lamar Jackson takes the snap, tosses it to Derrick Henry, getting plenty of blocks in front of him, and he just takes off and gets all the way to the Cincinnati 10-yard line to set up Justin Tucker's 24-yard field goal for the win. Executed in a nutshell, and just like that, the Ravens escape with a 41-38 victory in Cincinnati. That was a lot. That was definitely a lot. It was kind of unfortunate that we put ourselves in that position, but that's an AFC North game. That's what you expect out of an AFC North battle. It's going to be a gritty game that will come down to the wire. Both teams showing a lot of fighting spirit, a lot of pride, a lot of care for each other, and a lot of belief that they will win this game. So I'll give credit to both teams for making this the game of the week. I don't care about any other game outside of this. This right here is the game of the week. Probably the game of the year. Who knows? But both teams put up a lot of fights. They were so passionate, so prideful. But at the end of the day, Baltimore gets the victory. They advance to 3-2. Next match at the bank against the Washington Commanders will be even tougher, taking on Jay and Daniels and crew. But I hope for the best for the next matchup, as we still need to fix our mistakes, specifically in the secondary, but the offense as well. There's certainly a lot of improvements we can make on both sides of the ball. However, I do not want to take away from Lamar Jackson's performance as well as Derrick Henry's performance, because these two once again balled out again for the third straight week. With that being said, I appreciate you guys stopping by, tuning in for this reaction to this crazy game that happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations once again to the Ravens for pulling off a massive victory today. They advanced to 3-2. For Cincinnati, they are dropped to 1-4, 0-3 at home. It is what it is. And the AFC North is still up for grabs. I'm going to watch probably Sunday Night Football tonight. Cowboys and Steelers are getting ready to kick off. And we'll see what happens from there. With that being said, once again, I appreciate you all stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below what you think. And with that being said, that's all I got to say. Let's get it.